Talk2BongRamilo. I work for Darwin Community Arts. I'm the executive officer, but also a project officer for the Frontline project, which is a located major new media project with communities. It's mainly looking at place and its people's relationships with a place. So we're focusing on the Malak area as the place, and people who live in the neighborhood, and see what technology, or how technology can be useful or not useful. Lots of kids use it to watch YouTube movies, and recently, in the last 6 months or so, I guess, Facebook, to be in touch with family and friends. We realized a while ago that we need to have productive activities like workshops on digital media, photography, audio and music production, or I guess Facebook page activities where people collaborate to address some issues, I guess, of isolation or whatever it is, or just to share stories through images or videos. But we haven't had those workshops in a while, so we want to do them. We just need to plan how and when and get resources. At the moment, I think it's generally positive having a Telecentro in the community, and we plan to continue and expand that program, to expand its operations so we can be more directly responsive to refugees and immigrant families' needs. So it's not just sitting there, anyone can do whatever they want to do at the moment. We need to complement that with structure. Just technology, isn't it? You have to have a plan and some way to make it directly useful with the advice and input of your user. If you have computers there and you have no structured way of moderating their use or directing use of computers or any technology for that matter, just with gaming, for example, if we popularize computer gaming, which we were planning to, but with no moderation or supervision, kids could be there every day just for 4 hours playing computer games and nothing else, not even standing up. So and if they're sitting on chairs that are not necessarily ergonomic, you introduce problems with posture and stress on your neck and all of that, which all the problems, well-known problems associated with computer use. The potentially negative things might be cyberbullying, if you're not careful, and our firewalls don't work properly and all of that. There might be some nasty things that kids in particular are exposed to, which might affect their mental health, for example. In terms of information, if you need information in general, that sort of helps you function better. I think with kids, it might be school related, or it might be, especially with migrant and refugee families, it's a way to be in touch with family and friends who might be interstate or overseas. That helps with, I think, well-being, is being in touch even virtually or remotely. Specifically health-related, I guess our assistive technologies, working with disabled or people with disabilities. We've only really talked about it. We haven't done much about it, but we host Arts Access Darwin, for example, which is an arts and disability program, and we work closely with groups like Carpentaria Disability Services. At some stage, we'll have to develop things like how some of their clients, Carpentaria's clients, might access information and online facilities, even if they're just using their eyes, for example. Personally, I value literacy and numeracy because when you're literate and numerate, then you can achieve a lot of things, I think. If young people can be both literate and numerate, as well as benefit from other ways of having the information and knowledge that they need, then I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'd do it. It's not, I think, it's not an either question, it's and. It's and. The drop-in centers are not necessarily useful if they're only hangouts. A youth center must have productive and meaningful things for kids to do when they're there. If it's just there What's the point? So that's one thing we were discussing. The other stuff, of course, is this is me personally, even if you had structured activities at the center, we have to discuss what sort of activities are there. Like pool and air hockey are fine. And some activities like rock climbing and going out on outings and all of that, they're fine. But I don't think it should be just that. You should have things that are probably more educational, or no, not more educational, but different things. Not just this, not only diversionary. They seem to be, like many other kids, interested in just the fun things.
Mm.
And as a parent, you sort of, yes, okay, they should have as much fun as possible while they're young. But I'm also thinking, look, we say sometimes young people are the future, so we should prepare for them. But sorry, the future is here. I mean, the world is a bit fucked up and we have to do things. So we can't wait for young people to grow up. They have to do things now.
How can health professionals, youth workers, and researchers benefit from the lessons learned in the approach to community and individual capacity building of young people? Lessons learned from your experience in Browns Martin Town Community Arts.
Well, we're still learning. It's ongoing. Some of the stuff we've learned in partnership with people. You are a health professional, so in partnership with you, we've learned things in partnership with some other organizations, some community development groups, in partnership with other arts groups and artists and people who live in the neighborhood. So I guess for me, the biggest lesson is that you work with people and you learn the best ways of doing things in that way. Because we do have ideas, some of them have worked well, some of them didn't, because they were our ideas. So we have to keep talking to people while introducing our own ideas and our own proposals. I've worked for an NGO that was all about empowerment and trying to do it outside in communities on a national scale. But internally it was built like your traditional hierarchy. You had presidents, vice presidents, and pecking order. I didn't last there. But I thought it was really inconsistent. If you talk about empowerment, it should be everywhere, internally and externally. So that's a lesson we're still trying to learn. We're trying to empower neighborhoods to do it. So we should ourselves as workers have the power to do it with minimum barriers.